Welcome back, college football fans, to another episode of the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog. I'm your usual host, Blair Parks, and this is my instant reaction and recap to Iowa's 13-10 victory yesterday on Black Friday over Nebraska. It was senior day there in Lincoln, a lot to celebrate, and Iowa waltzes into town and spoils the party. With the victory, Iowa not only ruins the party on senior day, they also leave town with the Heroes Trophy back in their possession to Iowa City, and they also deny Nebraska the chance to be bowl eligible. So, I'm going to start off by saying this, okay? That I am not going to sit here and throw shade or any dirt on Nebraska, their program, their fans, their tradition. I'm not. Because for some reason, guys, this has become some sort of hated rivalry. A lot of people, I think, are trying to make this game more than what it really is every year, and I am not one of those, all right? Because hate is a very strong word. In this house, I tell my children, we do not use that word. And me, I do not hate any program, any fan base. I respect each and every one of you guys, your fan bases across this great nation. But I do want to expand a little bit more later on the status of the Nebraska program from my perspective and how I see it. That'll be later here in this episode. And before I say any more, I need to say happy belated Thanksgiving to you and yours. Hopefully you ate and drank like a fat rat. You enjoyed the football and are enjoying the football here on Rivalry Weekend. Right now it is halftime of this year's edition of The Game. Currently Michigan is up 14-10 at halftime against Ohio State. So I'm going to sneak this episode in very quickly. A game that me, as a Hawkeye fan, I am highly invested in because the winner of this game wins the Big Ten East, advances to Indianapolis, and will take on the Hawkeyes next Saturday in the Big Ten Conference title game, but also because of the tradition. I mean, the rivalry of all rivalries in our sport. This is just a game that I try to watch each and every year. So before I say anything else, thank you guys for your time, your attention on this holiday weekend. I appreciate and thank you for your support. As always, I ask you to please get involved. I always ask for and welcome your participation. Please comment down below on anything that I happen to mention here. If you agree, disagree, exercise your college football voice. I can't wait to hear from all of you fanatics from east to west, north to south. You don't have to be a fan of the black and gold to be involved here on the channel. I can't wait to hear from you, so please get involved, and I promise I will get back to each and every one of you sooner than later, individually via those comments. And it's just a great thing to be here celebrating my love of college football with you on the weekly, and you are the ones who make this possible, so please help the channel find more college football fans just like you. Comment, like, share, subscribe, click that button to get notifications. So let's get back to this game. With the victory, Iowa improves to 10-2 overall, 7-2 in Big Ten Conference play, while Nebraska, they fall to 5-7 overall, 3-6 in Big Ten Conference play. And for the most part, really kind of an ugly game offensively for both squads. I mean, UGLY, they ain't got no alibi, but that's really expected. We know how badly this Iowa offense, Now, I'm not going to insult the Iowa defense, and I got more to say about them here in a little bit as well. But yeah, no disrespect, defense, but how inconsistent yet consistent the offense has been, how badly they've been all season and last season. I mean, they came into this game overall the worst offense in the nation. We know who they are, okay? So we expected Iowa's offense to struggle, especially after a week after claiming the Big Ten West. There was a lot of rumors of, oh, Kirk Ferentz is going to rest his starters. Iowa has nothing to play for, yada, yada, yada. So could it be a little bit difficult if you're a player to get refocused and revamped to kind of come down from cloud nine to ground level after hoisting the trophy last week? Definitely. That would be a challenge, okay? But, I mean, overall, this is really the kind of game that I expected it to be. Now, I was able to watch the entire first quarter, and then I listened to it on my drive back home from Northwest Illinois back to here in Missouri. And I did watch it late last night. It was nice to kind of just do the quick version. The quick version. Do you? Yes. Do you? Yes. Good, you're married. Kiss her. So to kind of go through all of the commercials. So, it was a little bit difficult on the eyes. Iowa once again found a way to win this game. I mean, it was very un-Iowa-like. I mean, missing not one but two field goals by Drew Stevens, and then also kicking it out of bounds twice, improving Nebraska's field position. Very un-Iowa-like as far as special teams. All right, so that was a little bit alarming. All right. Now, listening to this game unfold, I was never really all that concerned, because here's why. All right. Have we not seen Iowa win like this time and time again? The answer is yes, we have. All right. And I will say this about Nebraska quarterback Chubba Purdy. I really like what this guy's cooking with. He is an absolute athlete. He gets rid of that ball quickly. He's fleet of foot. He's only a sophomore. Between all three of the quarterbacks that Nebraska has played this season, he is absolutely the best they have right now on the roster. But is he going to be the long-term fix at Nebraska? That's yet to be TBD. I don't know. I do expect Coach Matt Rule to hit the transfer portal a little bit in this offseason. And Nebraska fans, I get it. When you were watching this game, I'm sure some of you were getting ready to potentially stroke out. I get it. You know, you haven't been to the postseason since 2016. And I say that not putting salt in an open wound. I'm not. I'm just stating the facts. So I know a lot of you were anxiously awaiting this outcome. It looked like victory could be in your grasp. So I get it why you were probably going through the ups and downs. But once again, late, it just seemed like Matt Rule tried to out Iowa. And basically that is very difficult and if not impossible to do. Iowa has shown that when you try to get into the ball game that they want to dictate, normally Iowa is going to win those games. And for you Husker fans, it was a great first season for Coach Matt Rule. He's a great hire. Just give him some time. Be patient. He will get you back to relevance. All right? He will. Especially when you look back on the history of Matt Rule's first years at his previous jobs at the college level, Temple and Baylor. The first years were a little bit difficult, but you definitely started to see progress in year two. All right. As far as the stars of this game, I mean, it was really hard to pick one. I get it. As far as the Iowa backup field goal kicker who was called upon to kick his first field goal of the season in an Iowa uniform, a guy that's transferred in during the offseason. Marshall Meter comes in because of the struggles of Drew Stevens, who, like I said, missed two field goals. Both were blocked. So he comes in and hits the game winner, a 38-yarder that just barely cleared the crossbar. I mean, I'm talking by feet, all right? He hits the game winner from 38 yards. We celebrate on midfield with the Heroes Trophy. So once again, I'm not trying to, stoke the fire of this rivalry, but it was satisfying to see that happen, okay? Especially after last year that I was in attendance Black Friday a season ago with my son and my brother. Iowa, of course, was playing for the Big Ten West title to get back to Indy, but yet Nebraska comes in and ruined our party last season. And that was, I believe, their fourth victory of the season. Iowa stays home, while Purdue ended up representing the Big Ten West. So maybe it was a little bit of payback. I mean, I don't like saying the old saying of a revenge game. I don't really go with all of that, but it was satisfying to see that happen. Not necessarily because of the Heroes Trophy, all right? I mean, I get it. I love how they like to give some notoriety, and you want to go ahead and give some props to good citizens of the great states of Nebraska and Iowa. I'm totally for that idea, but the big thing is keeps Nebraska at 5 wins. That was really the satisfying part as an Iowa fan, and also seeing this team get to 10 wins. I mean, that is nothing ever to throw shade at or be disappointed with. It doesn't, regardless of the kind of program you are, but especially when you're a developmental program, as Iowa is, that's a great accomplishment. Especially even more so with this season, with all of the challenges and adversity we've had to deal with as a program. So Marshall Meter might be the overall star for Iowa. Also, I've got to give props and a shout out to Ethan Herkett. Had himself a great game. 9 tackles, 5 solo, 1.5 tackles for loss. And he was the one who caught that interception with under a minute to go that set up Iowa eventually for that walk-off field goal. I mean, it's hard for me to describe the last 2 minutes of this game. It's a lot to unpack. I wish I could. I don't have the time. Please, if you can, just rewatch the last 2 minutes, and that'll show you everything this game had. I mean, the turnovers. I believe there were 3 turnovers for Nebraska, 1 turnover for Iowa, the missed field goals, just really kind of an ugly game, all right? But these are the games that Iowa wins, all right? Iowa may not be flashy. They're definitely not sexy. They're not going to be your first or second choice as far as a homecoming date, but they just find ways to get it done. Now, getting back to the Hawkeye defense, all right? I need to say this, and I'm going to start to be the leader of the band for this. You can sign me up. I'm the president. That I'm just going to say this, that DC Phil Parker, he needs to win the Broyles Award, which is given every year to the nation's top assistant coach. There is no way that he can be denied this season the Broyles Award. It absolutely has to be given to him. They should really just give him the award right now, because nobody else in this nation is more deserving of that award. And I do think also, as far as coaching awards, I do see Coach Kirk Ferentz potentially winning Big Ten Coach of the Year. I think the only other coach that has a potential to do that is maybe interim, now turned long-term coach Braun there at Northwestern. And what a great story that has been. And if he was to win Coach of the Year after saving that program, getting them to bowl eligibility, I would have no beef with that. But I think it comes down to him or Coach Ferentz for Big Ten Coach of the Year as far as what they've accomplished with the cards that they've been dealt. But this Iowa defense, I mean, I want to make sure I get this correct. Coming into the game, guys, they were the 3rd best defense overall in the entire nation. So once again, completely off the radar. Big Ten fans, they know how studly this Iowa defense is year in, year out, but they still seem to be the nation's best kept secret. And that, once again, is because of Phil Parker and how consistent they have been for the better part of a decade. So they came in the 3rd best defense overall in the nation. They'd only given up 2 rushing touchdowns all year, which is absolutely phenomenal. And they came into the game giving up 12.5 points per game, which is that's next universe-like. Okay, that just is. That's different atmosphere, especially in the current college football game and era that we are in when it's offense, offense, offense. To hold opponents to 12.5 points a game, and that average is probably going to drop right down to 12 after yesterday allowing only 10 to the Cornhuskers. It is absolutely incredible. And the other thing to remember, this isn't a defense that's littered with 4- and 5-star recruits. Yes, we've got Xavier Nwampa, a 5-star recruit. I believe Aaron Graves was a high 4-star, but that's it. This isn't Ohio State or Michigan or Georgia, Alabama, where it's simply plug and play. Okay, who's the next 4 or 5-star guy off the bench? Come on over. It's not that at all. But what they continue to do, it has to be celebrated. And Coach DC Parker, he has to be given some notoriety. I mean, listen to this. In the 12 games they've played this regular season, they've allowed 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 out of 12 opponents, they've allowed 14 points or less. All right, and of those 10, let me just make sure because I'm looking at their schedule right now. Let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of those 10, they've allowed 10 points or less. That is phenomenal. These are Division I opponents. I get it. Some are going to say they haven't played juggernauts offensively, which they haven't this year. But I'll tell you what they have done. They've played 9 conference games, unlike some conferences that maybe won't be named, that only still play 8, maybe down in the southern region of the United States, who still play 8. They played 9 conference games. And the other thing they didn't do, they definitely did not play an FCS opponent, like, once again, that conference that won't be named down south, SEC, excuse me, where I believe 14 out of the 14 teams this year played an FCS opponent. Iowa did not do that, okay? So say what you will about playing in the Big Ten West or the Big Ten in general, still, that is absolutely incredible. 10 opponents to 14 points or less and 6 to 10 points or less. He has to win this award. He just has to get it done, period. Let me know what you think about that. Like, share, subscribe, comment. I can't wait to hear from you guys. So 10 wins, especially with the worst offense in the nation. It comes down to this defense and the special teams of Iowa. So that must be celebrated and it must be rewarded. Phil Parker must win it. Please, write your local congressman. Use your college football voice. Spread the word. Now, one of the last things I want to say about Nebraska, the status of the program, and I love Matt Rule. He's a dynamite hire. You not only won signing day, but I think you got the right guy. And I've already mentioned that this is a team that hasn't been to a bowl game since 2016. All right? I'm 42 years old. I've been a college football fan since I was 8. So I remember those championships in the early, mid-90s. I remember Eric Crouch late in the 90s. Okay, I remember that. All right? Now, if I could hop in my DeLorean, go back in time and tell myself then that, hey, Blair, just so you know, Nebraska is going to have basically a 7-year bowl absence. They're going to have a drought of 7 years. I probably would have kicked myself in the you-know-what, all right? But here they are, okay? And I think a lot of it comes down to the expectations that Nebraska fans are putting on this program. I look at it from the outside that you are suffocating your own team. A lot of Nebraska fans, they have the expectation of blue blood. It must be 10 wins a year. We want to fight and play for Big Ten titles in college football, playoff appearances and berths. Tone that down. This is not the glory years anymore. It is not, okay? And no disrespect here, but this might be a little bit tough to swallow. And before you say, oh, he's just, Iowa's not either. I have never called Iowa a blue blood, and I never will, because we're not. I know who we are, all right? Like Arnold Schwarzenegger said in that, I forget the movie now, I know who I am. I am Quaid, right? So, yeah, from Total Recall, we know who we are. But Nebraska fans who still believe they are a blue blood, I'm sorry, you're not. Not anymore. Blue bloods absolutely can go dormant for 5 years, maybe a decade, but they still at least get to bowl games, okay? So to say you are a blue blood, the 1990s is far ways off now. That is long past the last time you won a national championship, okay? You are no longer blue blood status. You're not. So until you finally accept that, this team will not make any progress because you keep chasing coaches out of Lincoln who don't live up to that expectation and hype. I have no problem with the Nebraska fan base. They are very passionate, dedicated, and loyal, and I love that. But you have to relax your expectations, okay? You're not a blue blood. I want you to be better. I do. It's good for the Big Ten. But if you think you're going to get better overnight, especially with the LA schools, Washington and Oregon joining our conference next season, no one's ever going to make it there, okay? I mean, when you look at history, I believe Nebraska has 5 national championships. And if you're a Husker fan, please, feel free to correct me, but I believe Minnesota has 7. You don't see Minnesota fans going around saying they're a blue blood. If that's the case, they'd be the bluest blue blood in our division. They would be. So, Nebraska fans, you have to calm yourselves down, okay? Just relax and pump the brakes. Let's come back to reality here, out of fantasy land, and realize who you are and who you're not. Okay, you are suffocating yourselves with these expectations. I mean, I remember when Matt Rule was hired a year ago, roughly, I saw people on Twitter, on Facebook, all over the internet. Oh, we're going to go 12-0. We're going to go 11-1. Playoffs, here we come. And these are grown adults. Okay, come on. It ain't going to happen. Enough with this. I feel sorry for you. I do. But anyway, so where we go from here, I said Iowa plays the winner of Ohio State and Michigan. I'm going to get back to watching that game right now. I mean, as far as who do I think would be a better matchup for the Hawkeyes, well, it's really kind of pick your poison. Do you want the hemlock or do you want the cyanide? I don't know. It's going to take one hell of an effort for Iowa to upset whoever wins the East. But we've seen stranger things happen. All right. Nebraska, obviously, you await your fate. I think they will get an invite to a bowl game because there's way too many bowl slots that aren't going to be filled. I mean, I think there's 81 teams now that are waiting bowl berths. It's ridiculous. There's way too many. But then again, I don't think there's enough. So Nebraska still might get a bowl invitation. To me, is that considered, hey, did you earn postseason play? You didn't. But if you're invited, you need to take it. Okay? You need the extra reps. You need the practice. I know some Nebraska fans, once again, getting back to maybe the, not arrogance, but the unrealistic side of it. We're above accepting a bowl bid as 5 and 7. You better damn well do it because you need it. All right? You need the practice time and the reps. That's one of the biggest benefits of going bowling is those extra 13, I believe, or 14 practices. All right? You know what? I'm going to change my mind. Just F Nebraska. I'm just going to say that right now. I'm sorry. I mean, I had a little change of mind. But anyway, guys, I'm going to get back to watching the game. It's a great weekend to be a Hawkeye. I appreciate your time, your attention. We'll see who we end up playing. Definitely expect me back on Monday to kind of go through the weekend that was. By Monday, all of the championship conference matchups will be set. Kind of give you a little bit of a quick preview. And I'm definitely going to have an in-depth preview this week coming up of the Big Ten title game with Iowa versus the winner of today's matchup. So until then, please get involved, comment, like, share, subscribe. Can't wait to hear from you. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and the football. And until Monday, take care, and I'll see you then on the Touchdown Black and Go vlog. Bye-bye.